The man who invented Christmas. No, I'm not talking about President Trump making good on his promise to protect Christmas, his record stock booms, and 3% plus GDP growth. Whew, so much winning. No, I'm talking about the movie adaptation of the Charles Dickens classic, A Christmas Carol. This movie, is it a fun, unique, and refreshing take on the old classic? Maybe. Yeah, it is. Do they still manage to make some interesting political statements? Yes, and did he actually invent Christmas? No, but I'll get into it. I'm Ben Davies, this is Pure Hollywood. Alright, The Man Who Invented Christmas was released nationwide November 22nd. It grossed $3 million at the box office opening weekend. They didn't actually mention what the budget was for this movie, but we'll see how it goes over the holiday season. And it is nice to see an independent movie get out there and do pretty well. The movie was directed by Britt Nallery. It's really hard to pronounce that name, but let's get into it. My viewer review, I'm going to give this movie a 4 out of 5. Alright, let's just dive right in of some of the reasons why this is a good movie. And particularly, it is the performances by some terrific actors. Dan Stevens brings a merry performance to Charles Dickens. He is fun, he is captivating, he is interesting. Every character that he interacts with is unique. He does a great job of putting on not just himself, but also the other characters around him, the way he interacts with different people. And you can really feel his stress and joy throughout it. By stress, I mean, yeah, he's really stressed most of the time. The rest of the cast was also fun, pleasant, and enjoyable. You get to interact with real human characters around him, from his family to his friends, as well as the characters in his mind as he's piecing together this classic story. Particularly Christopher Plummer, who played a wonderful Grinch as Ebenezer Scrooge. Let's see what I did there. This incredible actor really puts on a show in this iconic role. He is interesting to watch throughout it. Fun, hilarious, and entertaining. Director, I'm just going to say his last name, Nallery, did a great job of taking an old classic and putting a fresh new take on it. The scenes were fast, the imaginary characters were fun, and you really got to feel the stress and tension of Charles Dickens back in the mid-1800s. It was really cool to watch. And for my critic review, I'm going to give The Man Who Invented Christmas a 4 out of 5. Now, the best part about this movie is the way that he told these imaginary characters. One of the hardest things to do, especially when you're trying to believe one character and follow him, is to also follow a separate story that he's writing, that he's struggling with. But it was a brilliant way to do this when you get to see this creative writer imagine the characters and then communicate with them, trying to figure out, all right, what would you do in this situation? You get to see these real conversations, not with this world-busting, supernatural, spirit-busting through, but a legitimate character in his mind that he's talking to, trying to grapple with these situations of Christmas and stress and love and redemption. So you get to see all of them in real life in his head. It was a great, unique way to tell this story. The movie was colorful, it was well shot. I will say the makeup was a bit odd in some places, but the music and the settings and the lights were fun. It was a very Christmas, family-friendly movie to watch, as well as the messages that were being talked about are perfect for the holiday season, including redemption, love, and what the season is all about. What was also done very well was the history they included in it. If you go back and look at the history of Charles Dickens writing this, it pretty much follows his historical life almost beat for beat during this movie, which is really cool when you get to see it on screen to know that this is pretty close to what actually happened to Charles during this incredible time in his life. Now for my faith and values, I'm going to give this a 4 out of 5. Quick history, Charles Dickens did not invent Christmas in 1843. The first recorded account of Christ Mass, see how it works there? Christmas, Christ, Mass, Christ, huge celebration service, was actually first recorded by the first Christian emperor of Rome, Constantine, in 336 AD. Even though A Christmas Carol is a wonderful classic Christmas story that was wildly successful with millions of copies in circulation, it doesn't really hold a candle to the original Christmas story recorded in the Bible with about 5 billion copies in circulation. But I digress. The themes are wonderful being discussed in the movie, including an obsession with worldly wealth and greed, how that can leave you penniless eternally, stripping you broke of love, friendship, and family around you because you're so obsessed with what you can have. In the movie, Charles really wants to bring love and compassion back to the season because he sees the people around him being so wrapped up in material, selfish things, which I also think distracts us from the greatest gift of the season, and that is salvation through Jesus Christ. John 3:16, "For God so loved the world that he gave his one and only Son, that whoever believes in him shall not perish but have eternal life." Great gift. Politically, this is also sneakishly complex of what is going on. You see Charles complaining about people just hoarding and focusing on material things. There's also a few offhanded jokes. There are people talking about capitalism, the free market. There's also a guy who basically is the reason for Scrooge, who talks about, oh, I picked myself up by my bootstraps, and then his wife was like, no, you made all your money basically because your father gave you a cotton mill, kind of like poking at Donald Trump's upbringing maybe. It was kind of odd. While also showing the incredible danger and stress of people leeching off of others without any hope of working for their own benefit, living with their hands out, taking both people down with them. This happens to a lot of people around Charles, even though he wants to be able to give to the poor. He has people just leeching off him and stressing his life and everyone else's out as well. Kind of a nice comparison to socialism, where people are just living with their hands out instead of producing for themselves and being responsible. It really is a cool situation to watch him kind of be in the middle of this storm, these two different things going on around him. If you want to look at it through a political lens, that's a great way you can do it, or you can just enjoy it for a great Christmas fun movie. And in the end, Charles is pretty much fed up with both sides and just chooses to love and appreciate those right in front of them as individuals for his family and friends. So I hope you guys enjoyed the review as well as getting to go see the movie. I'm Ben Davies, this is Pure Hollywood. Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. Alright, if you like this video and others like it, please consider becoming a premium member to The Rebel. That way you'll have first access to Pure Hollywood and the entire Rebel lineup.